I've already sold out for Volskaya twice today. That's all they get. They did not pay me for 3 sellouts a day. Sorry, Volskaya, you're gonna have to open up your checkbook a little bit larger.
What if they send you one of those robots, but a gunpla of it?
You know, if they could send me a light or actual like to scale version of the robot and I could just take over an entire US city with it, yeah, I'll sell out for them all day long.
No, I would like a 1/60th, you know, like master grade gunpla of one of those robots.
No,
Wouldn't that
I
be
mean,
enough?
That's cool and all, but if I could just actually take over a US city with one of these robots, that would be even better.
You just don't have any patience for that. You gotta talk to Doa, man. get all the painting equipment, you know, for the miniatures and stuff.
I just want a fully assembled war mech. I'm a simple man.
You gotta build it yourself. That's the key.
It's gonna have like 8 arms if I build it myself. But LNL, they're looking to the attack right now. Sugar Free, I don't believe you. And Sugar Free actually gonna be going to the Brigitte here with Enlair.
Okay, we'll see. Maybe they're fearing Who Are You, who has been playing very brazenly in the back line, especially when he's on this Tracer, so he might get punished hard. He's got to be careful here because he's going to have Sugar Free and Dogman to worry about as LNL make their approach onto the point.
And pull as Zachary just takes down Enlair, who thoughtfully put himself into the air for him there. One quick pick off. They're going to be able to res Enlair, and Beastalo actually went a little bit deep on trying to punish. The rest of Fusion University wasn't on board with that particular game plan. So with Alarm winning the Zen v Zen, though, suddenly things are a little bit rosier here for Fusion University. Dealing with the dive pretty well. Decod's going to be out of it, but it's trades back and forth to a point. That's not bad for LNL. They have a tick and respawns coming in.
Yeah, and with Elk falling for Fusion University, that means they're not going to be able to res back into this, but who needs res when you got Frags as Alarm and Bernard pick off too?
Fusion University able to cleanly remove LNL from the point after what was looking like a precarious position, so they get to reset, and Zachary going to have the infrared up for the next fight.
Luckily for LNL, at least they were able to secure a tick off of that, so, you know, minute not just squandered. They got some results off of it. We'll see if Enlair can do anything with this Widowmaker, though. It's been Zachary who's been lining up the kill feed with it, and that's going to allow him to have this recon visor up. So Enlair has to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, Enlair has to realize that Zachary has as an option, which is why he's being a little bit more defensive in how he pokes out. And Zachary, full flanking Widowmaker here, looking for the pickoff, gets Dogman from the backside. I'll get moved back the other way. Beast Halo again committing pretty hard there, and LNL actually turned on the flankers, took them down, and now they have a great edge as they move back into the fight as Who Are You goes, guess my team's gone. Time to delay. This is going to be a heroic and yet sad sacrifice.
Yeah, that was just too brazen coming out from Fusion University, having their Widowmaker essentially just on the front line. Sugar Free swaps off once again, now going over, excuse me, Zachary now swapping off on to that Brigitte as Who Are You goes over to the Hanzo.
Meanwhile, you look at Fusion, they do have both support ults up. Probably going to lead off with Alarm here in just a second. They're going to dive under with Beast Halo. Beast Halo leading the way for Disruption. He's getting focused down super quickly, and oh, goes down before Transcend could save him. Alarm didn't even have the opportunity to hit the button. And he's not in a resible spot, so here comes Fusion. Elk's going to use the Valkyrie here, trying to add some normalcy. Zachary's down. They're down 2, now 3. LNL in a very good spot.
Yeah, the Transcendence is used to cover that Valkyrie. The Resurrection coming out from Elk as Zachary does get back into this as the Brigitte. Now, one tick almost secured by LNL. First one comes on in as Dogman finds the elimination onto Bernard. Beast Halo tries to jump in, but he gets shot out of the sky.
Fusion now looking for a miracle. None's gonna happen. They get off the point, and LNL sets a lightning fast time against Fusion. And I mean, look, if we're gonna call out things that happen there, I get that you have a Primal Rage, Beast Halo, but you can't die that far away from your team. He put himself in a corner. All he needed to do was leap back to Alarm, and Alarm could have just transcended to bring him back up. And it's that old Achilles heel of Fusion kind of rearing its head again, where Fusion is oftentimes at their worst when teams focus Beast Halo. And look, Primal Rage, it makes it beefy, but you're not invincible.
Yeah, he tried to go after Ajax, who had everybody's orbs on him. He had an Orb of Harmony and an Orb of Discord, but still, a Winston with Primal Rage just cannot out DPS the heals coming out from that, especially if the rest of LNL are just focusing you down. You don't have enough time there. Beast Halo getting way too aggressive now, and as soon as I praise him, of course, he gets punished for that aggression. So now LNL, they're going to be starting off on the they're going to be on the defense now. you know, they set a great time for themselves. 5 minutes and 6 seconds. That is huge here on Volskaya. Of course, that could also result in something like a 6-7 or like an 8-9 scoreline for us down the line.
Ah, yes, the rare Volskaya where no one knows how to play defense. Also, I think worth noting here is that Fusion does not necessarily have to win to be happy with where this is. If they get a draw, they win the series. So they do have that twofold win condition because of winning maps 1 and 2. So LNL, only absolute victory here will do.
Now Fusion University, though, want to try and take the tempo to LNL here, so Who Are You's already hovering over that Genji, and of course Bernard and Beast Halo be his dive buddies in the Diva and the Winston. But it's Zachary that I'm looking towards really more than anything else, especially here on Volskaya with that Widowmaker. He was connecting with the shots. It was just his aggression that got punished and ultimately led to Fusion University dropping point A.
All right, now we get to see Fusion on the attack. Zachary looking for early pickoffs on the Widowmaker. Who Are You more than accomplished in diving in as Genji? And, you know, like I said earlier, it's like, I'd like to see him play some Genji here, and looks like I got my wish. Already at 22%, laying in damage to the backline. Meanwhile, Zachary being measured, looking for his opposing number, and doesn't even have to fish off because Who Are You was already there. A 6-on-5, no snipers left for the defense, and Who Are You is just in a good position to punish even further. Gets decon, and now the danger here for LNL is that Who Are You very well could have a Dragon Blade at the end as he picks off one more. 4 kills for Who Are You.
They died too quickly for him to actually build up that Dragon Blade, but he is at 65%. He's going to charge forward to try and get some poke damage off here, as the rest of his team will go ahead and secure that. Both DPS now at the forefront here, trying to get an early pickoff.
Who Are You? His bloodlust might have gone a little bit too far as he ends up finding the decod, and all that momentum, like a air releasing from a balloon, just falling away here, because that's not even Resable where Who Are You died.
But, you know, he's a Genji. He's got dashes, he's got double jumps and everything. Terrain means nothing to him, so he'll be able to get back to the point pretty quickly. A few more shurikens, that's going to be a blade for him, and that's going to be great timing because Dogman is so far away from his Transcendence, only at 50% right now.
Yeah, Who Are You still definitely has the keys to victory, so to speak.
Now, I want to see Dogman actually getting the focus of a lot of that healing. Decod dropping low, though.
Decod already getting chunked early on. Look at Who Are You, 97%. Struggling to get those last few percentage points, but now the blade is up. Dogman doesn't have a Transcendence up just yet. And Fusion, with all 6 up, evaluate their opponents. Who Are You sees the clump of people to the back. He's going to go to the top. Dragon Strike coming in. Who Are You? Is he going to breath the blade? He does. Mercy in his sights. Dashes away. Who Are You? 2 HP. Ends up falling to Nex. He overcommitted to it. It was telegraphed for days. And LNL, they hold back and they're rewarded as they repel Fusion University on their attack.
And this might allow LNL to hold on even longer here, try to get the time advantage up against Fusion University, who are down to 5 minutes and 40 seconds. And so, looks like in terms of time bank, LNL will definitely come out ahead here. We'll see. Any swap-offs coming out? No, Zachary will stay on the Hanzo. Who Are You? We'll stick with that Genji, and he's going to try and have another go at a blade. Never mind. Swap-offs coming out now. Zachary going over to the Brigitte. Who Are You? Now on the Hanzo.
We've cut the Shimadas in half and we've added Brigitte, so been seeing this quite a bit here. Fusion now looking for the way in. Bernard holding on to self-destruct. LNL probably going to be looking for the early Dragon Strike. And speaking of early Dragon Strikes, was that Eden? I think that might have gone in there. The Dragon doesn't do anything. Who Are You? Takes down Dogman on the other side. And Fusion now working with that 6-on-5 edge built by that opportunity. But the res is up. We're all even, and Fusion didn't feel comfortable diving in.
Yeah, Beast Halo almost fell there. He was down to about 10 HP, but Who Are You with another arrow taking out Sugar Free once again. There is no res now. They send in the self-destruct, but it's Who Are You that's getting all the frags. He uses Storm Arrows to pick off Decod, but now they're trying to go for more.
He's gotten 2 here so far. It's a nice edge for Fusion. The key here, the name of the game is don't let anyone on your side fall. No matter how much LNL struggle here, just don't overcommit. And so far it's working out. Ajax runs afoul of Zachary there. Who Are You? Still laying in the arrows. No one even looking at him because Fusion is in cleanup mode right now. They just need a little bit more. They're super close. And after they push off next year, they boop him away. That's going to be it. But it is a slower time than LNL by about a minute.
And that might be hugely different. I mean, we got to see earlier on what that minute can accomplish for a team. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's just getting it beyond the bridge of Rialto. But now Fusion University, this is still, you know, a great position for them to be in because, again, they basically equalize this at this point. They'll have another opportunity to attack. It was a pretty quick offense coming out from them, especially with a play coming up from Who Are You and Zachary on their offense. They just got staunched a little here on point B.
Yeah, and it's debatable as to whether or not this is a benefit, but they just were in the mode of, okay, how do we run our attack? Well, guess what? They get to run their attack again because they still set a slower time, so I don't think we're going to be seeing much really change from them there. But on the defense end, you would think that they'd be a little bit more aware of Who Are You, because I think they were afraid of Zachary getting pickoffs, but it was Who Are You who got to the back line and just absolutely trashed it in the beginning of the last round. So if you're LNL, the main goal here should be don't let Who Are You do what he wants as a Genji in your back line, because it's not really a winning strategy.
You have to remember that Who Are You's been playing the Genji for over a year and a half now as like his main, almost 2 years now. And so he's got the experience in all these kinds of different situations. Zachary going over to the Widowmaker, Who Are You? Will swap over to that Genji. So we'll see if the double snipers of LNL can really deal with him and try to shut him down. Decod is going to be crucial to that. He does need to go for the kind of counter peel style with that Winston.
I would also argue that Volskaya is probably more favored for Who Are You than most other players. Like anyone that played in the Apex era probably has more Volskaya experience than anyone else, because Volskaya wasn't always playing West. But Who Are You under way more pressure early on as he dove in. Doesn't quite fall. LNL able to re-consolidate, but they're still wounded. They lose quite a bit of positioning. And now the double team coming in with Beast Tail, Who Are You to the back. Zachary falls on the other end though, so it's back and forth. Both teams down 2. Who Are You? Kicked in the face by Dogman. But Dogman, super low, gonna end up healing. The problem for LNL is that they've lost so many people that Fusion should be able to win this by attrition now.
Yeah, Ajax swaps off onto the Lucio just to get back to the point because he did fall. So now Fusion University, they've regrouped and they're gonna push in together. As soon as they have Bernard healed up, they will be onto the point.
But they're wasting some time here. Zachary takes one to the head on the other side. Their opportunity where they had more people a bit lost, where yes, they got the res off without getting punished, but LNL back to full. Beast Halo too far up and falls, and Enlayer just gonna work the outskirts, get Zachary again, and he's not coming up this time.
And that advantage is completely squandered there. They were just waiting too long. Ajax with the quick swap off onto the Lucio, gets him back to the point. Back to heal his tanks. And now LNL, off the back of really Enlayer and Sugar Free coming up with some huge eliminations there, bring their team back into this. Fusion University are now down to 2.5 minutes. You got the double whammy, Sugar Free and Zachary taking each other out, but Elk is the one who has the res.
Sugar Free wasn't brought back up. Sugar Free's back in spawn. This is a 6-on-5 right now for Fusion, but Zachary ends up falling just as quickly. It's been a rough round for Zachary here so far. Both teams down 1. Who Are You? Has the blade, and Dogman's down. There won't be a Transcendence. Who Are You can blade, and there won't be a response, but he's not gonna need to. The dive in from Fusion after Dogman fell, so decisive. LNL was clumped up hoping for the Transcendence, and it just did not come out in time.
Yeah, that kill onto Ajax on that first push coming out from Who Are You and Bernard finally paying off. As you saw the effects of it 2 fights later, right? They didn't have a res to try and bring Sugar Free back into this because Ajax had swapped off onto the Lucio beforehand. And now coming into this next fight, Ajax has reset himself back onto that Mercy, but luckily they'll be able to buy time for him. Well, LNL, they've got the Transcendence, they've got both tank ultimates, so Who Are You is gonna have a difficult time with this next blade.
Yeah, I mean, Who Are You has a lot of respect for Dogman's Transcendences, so he's really not gonna try and blade until the Transcendence is forced out, which, by the way, Dogman just used it. He was forced to use it, he was under pressure. Now look to Who Are You, gets chonked right when he wanted to go in the blade, smushed against the wall. Maybe Elk can bring him back up, but Zachary gets Enlayer. More room being made here. Who Are You is going to be taking that long trip back to spawn, but Fusion already getting close to getting a tick here.
No, they don't stand on it long enough. They abandon the point, and so they won't even get the tick there. Beast Halo taking down Dogman might be the space enough created as Beast Halo gets another elimination on the Sugar Free.
No, they haven't left it yet. They're coming back in, and now you look to Who Are You. He's going to be able to bring out the blade when he knows there's not a Transcendence up. Zachary's giving suppressing fire, and this blade is going to be one heck of a cleanup blade. Sees both supports. He's licking his chops. He's swinging the blade, and he's down. Sugar Free takes him down, but not before Beast Halo finishes what he started, and Fusion takes advantage of the chaos. finishes off the point with 59 seconds left.
59 seconds left, which actually does make a difference here. If LNL finish off the map, but they finish it off in overtime, that means they get another opportunity to attack. So that is actually a very crucial 1 second that LNL were able to delay for.
LNL, now we'll see what they bring on their attack. 5 minutes, of course. If they were to set a similar time to what they did the first time, we'd be looking at going into round 5 and 6 respectively. But there is no guarantee that will be the case. We'll see if Fusion has made a few adjustments on their defense, where could be getting the double sniper in action here between Who Are You and Zachary.
Yeah, it's about keeping Beast Halo alive, so we'll see if he reins it in a little bit on this Winston. He does chase after, of course, the resurrections, but a lot of times you don't have to be right on top of course, that Mercy who's going for the res. It's about getting an elimination in an area where it's absolutely unresable, where both snipers are just staring it down, and so you don't even want to poke your head out. Now we'll see. Looking for the offense coming out from LNL. Sugar Free is hovering over this Brigitte, and you know, he's been doing a good job with it so far.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's his most explosive hero, but it's functional, which is more than what we could say of a lot of DPS players that find themselves flexing to everyone's favorite baguette.
I mean, would I rather see him on Hanzo or Pharah? Yes, but he is serving his purpose so far with this Brigitte. We got to see him actually shutting down Who Are You on like Genji when he went for that last blade, but it was too late. Now they are onto the point.
They're moving on in, and this is standard Brigitte comps where you just kind of power your way through and challenge the other team to stop you. Zachary, for now, looking for the way in. Both Winstons out of the fight, but both Winstons back in, so Mercies are there. They're ready to bring up long gone scientists, and it's gonna be Zachary striking first in the Widow battle. Gets Enlair on the other side, and Fusion now working with Distinct Edge. Zachary, now doesn't have to worry about Widow, turns his attention over to the Winstons that are there. Decod, his target of choice, and no one's there to help Decod as he gets mowed on down. Diva gonna join him shortly.
Yeah, a full clip from the Widow's Kiss going into the back of that Winston. Beast Halo does fall once again from Dogman, and he's going to have to take a long walk of shame instead of getting res back into the Zachary. Takes again to the skies, but he does not get that elimination onto Enlair. Was close. If it was a headshot, it would have taken him out. But once again, he's going to be able to slow down this push. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left for LNL, but Zachary's going to have, of course, the Recon Visor. Try and slow them down a bit.
And he's going to activate it right about now. And the other thing about, too, is that once he uses it, is that's going to give Who Are You time to go. And they already get Enlair. So now they might not have to use it, but the res does come off. Zachary's looking to deny. So now he's going to use the recon site. This would be a good time. But they're going to wait until the last moment, until they're sure LNL's committing it. Okay, Who Are You says, I don't need your infrared sight. I'm just going to lay this dragon in.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
But it seals him to the right side, and it lets Zachary come from the other end, and Fusion is still picking him off.
And Fusion University, they've been very stingy with their ultimates now, so that means they banked up 5 here as LNL. They're banking up the 6 now. They're gonna have the Recon Visor along with the Rally very shortly for Sugar Free. And so they're gonna be able to actually come into this next fight with some additional health, some much needed armor. Still, again, even though you get the extra 100 armor onto your squishies like Dogman, like Ajax, it doesn't put them out of the one-shot territory of either the Hanzo or the Widowmaker.
This is still really good for Fusion because LNL, okay, they might drain all ults and get this, which isn't guaranteed with how much Fusion has stockpiled. But if they drain everything, they're not going to have that available for point B. So they open up with the Rally here. That's what they're going to start with. Decod has some Primal Rage under pressure. Who Are You? He's just working as the Hanzo on the outskirts. Decod not in time. He can't get to Dogman, who could have saved him with the Transcendence. The LNL ends up layering support ultimates as a result. Decod brought back into the fight, and the reason is, of course, the Transcendence kept Ajax alive. Meanwhile, you have Ajax, or Zachary on the backside, has to compensate for Who Are You being out of the fight. A Widow versus a Winston, perhaps a bit of a dream. Gets support from Alarm, and Zachary's still in the fight. Alarm's still in. Ooh. And even with Enlair taking down Zachary, Fusion is finding a way of fighting their way back into this. It's back and forth, and LNL might have finally done enough to break on through, but Bernard still fighting with Who Are You, who's freshly back in the fight.
These are some trades coming out. It's not over yet. Finally, Dogman tips the scales for his team. They will be able to clean up Beast Halo and finally take point A. 2 minutes left on the clock as they move over, but both teams committed so many ultimates into that. The ones coming up ahead, though, is going to be Fusion University, as Zachary has that Infrasight, and Who Are You, of course, has that Dragon Strike ready to try and slow down LNL's next approach.
Well, I mean, the key thing is, too, is that the offense needs those ultimates a lot more to get things done than the defense does, particularly in the Assault Map game mode, so that's a full win for Fusion as far as I'm concerned.
And it's coming down to the wire now. 1 minute and 30 seconds. So, Fusion University, luckily for LNL, Fusion University were pushed to the limits. They were pushed to 59 seconds. That means if LNL take this in overtime, they'll have another opportunity to attack. Now they're coming on in. The Storm Arrows are used by Who Are You to try and chunk him down, but it's going to be him who receives a little bit of his own medicine. Dragon Strike comes out, but nothing comes of it.
Well, it is going to isolate LNL to that left side a little bit more, but Fusion isn't really able to capitalize on that. Now they're going to go back the other way. Next, let's one fly, self-destruct. Not going to land, but again, corralling Fusion into the indoor areas. We're suddenly decaught. Room to work with Zachary already out of the fight. And we see Who Are You trying to fight his way back out of it. Finds Winston in his face. Storm Arrows out. Unable to land most of them. Decaught being awfully tricky to get into. And now LNL, a good opportunity to seal it. We're looking at Dogman. Oh, they lose next. Still, they could commit the Transcendence here. It's just tricky. It's on the threshold, and they're gonna do it. Dogman decides to transcend, but losing Ajax, that might be the death knell coming out for here from LNL, as Fusion should be able to roll back onto the point.
I mean, they're just trying their best to zone people off the point just to secure this tick, but committing all that into it just for a sliver of progress is going to come to bite them in the back, as now they're all just left. With Enlair, now he's got the Dragon Strike. Sugar Free is close to, of course, that rally, but it's difficult to build up unless you're playing up close, and they have to get onto the point. 5 seconds left.
That's why you see Dogman swapping in Lucio. It is all hands on deck. LNL, I think they realize the time crunch they're in. Can they even touch point in time? No, it's going to be Fusion taking Volskaya, taking the series. LNL, they committed a little bit too much to that final fight, where I think they were even debating internally, can we win this, can we not? They said, yeah, we can win it, and then they didn't have enough time left for that final gasp.
I think they just got baited, because they were so close to getting that first tick, and they really wanted to just secure it and then come in with another fight. But instead, that just protracted the fight even longer. That meant that their final fight, they only had about 2 seconds to actually get it off.
It was a scrappy fight, though. I feel like each team's had their highlights, each team's had their clutch plays, but in the end, Fusion University just ripped the victory away from LNL.
Yeah, I mean, I would say LNL's first attack definitely caught Fusion a bit off guard, but it didn't seem like one of those things that would be super repeatable on a second time, and in the end, it wasn't. It was kind of, there is more variability to assault maps, and Fusion still looked more composed than LNL overall.
So would you say that LNL is really running on luck rather than strategy here?
I mean, I wouldn't say luck. I just think assault maps in general are a little bit variable in first attack, where you could get a really good attack where someone gets a pick off to begin with, where it wouldn't even be a one-on-one they normally win, and that just snowballs into something even better on the next point. But you can't always rely on that, and generally reliability does pay off.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of the times, especially on the offense, it was just Who Are You that played very opportunistic with his Genji, which is generally how you play, right? You wait for some damage to come off onto a low health target, you jump on them, you use your cooldowns to really burst them down, and then from there, the team fight generally snowballs out of control for the opposing team, and he was able to really capitalize on a lot of those moments that Zachary set up for him.
So as you're talking about team compositions and working together, really, it seems that Fusion University had the best teamwork here. It wasn't just Who Are You, it wasn't just Zachary, it was everybody really fighting together to pull off this win, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, they had their main strategies set up, and it just allowed for individual contributions to also shine as well, where you think back to the first attack, right, where you have all Fusion coming in from the left-hand side, and, you know, the goal was that, okay, you're going to have Who Are You flanking, and it ends up being Who Are You doing a little bit more, but even if he didn't in that case, they were still set up in well enough positionally that they would have been able to compensate if, say, Who Are You had just traded out.
Yeah, and with the composition that LNL went in with for their last offense, it wasn't the easiest composition to try and coordinate, right? And especially with the ultimates that they had. I mean, we saw they try to go for that self-destruct along with the Winston Primal Rage to try and corner them, but instead, it's so difficult with the Winston to try and control perfectly how you're batting everyone around, especially if you're jumping onto someone like a Hanzo, who can redirect his momentum into a different way, and Decod instead uses his entire Primal Rage just to try and bat off the Hanzo.
All right, well, the next map we will be seeing is Rialto. What do you think we can expect to see on this? Will this be the clean 4-0, or does LNL have a sliver of a chance?
I mean, Rialto in other languages is probably the word for chaos, because I don't know what to expect as we see Rialto in some of these games, because it's just like, I don't know. Like, I mean, ideally you'd think Fusion would win, but based on what we've seen so far, but teams somehow self-destruct on this map, and Fusion might not be an exception.
Yeah, and this is where we got to see a great defense coming out from LNL, and got their first map victory last week. So we'll see if they can recreate that and put a stop to the curse of the 4-0s and the 3-1s coming out from Group A.
All right, well, let's see if this big question mark of a map will turn into a 4-0 or a 3-1.
You know what it won't turn into? It won't turn into map number 5, where Fusion, right now, their favorite number might be 4, which is the minimum amount of maps that you have to play. So, well, feeling a little bit better on the Fusion side for that.
Everyone taking a quick dive to the canals of Rialto here.
Man, that acid rain really got bad in the last 50 years that you actually just die if you go swimming.
I mean, there are some places, you know, you're told to like carry an umbrella around because of the acid rain.
Or maybe it's Robo Sharks.
Robo Sharks.
Robo Sharks.
Oh,
Sharknado
Blizzard
occurred.
really likes sharks, right? You got the space sharks running around in StarCraft, Robo Sharks now.
And Space Sharks. At least the Sharks never took to the street. Then we'd have a bad 90s TV show. They probably just offended people. It was okay, but it was clearly a ripoff of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It was
Please wake up.
jawsome. It was jawsome.
Was
all
that
right?
actually one of their quotes?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right,
How do you
now,
remember this?
Because I was a 90s kid.
I was too. Oh.
All right, LNL on their offense. This is the look that we see a lot of teams go for, the Orisa Hog. But instead of going for the solo support, they do have Dogman on the Zenyatta, so he will be able to, you know, help with the damage, but not the healing, because Zachary took Nex out.
Yep, Zachary landing the headshots, but Ajax is there, so Mercy, the game's best eraser, but not going to be erasing the next 2 kills. Zachary continues to pile on, and Zachary has 3 so far. Rialto at times appearing to be a sniper's paradise as LNL is taken down from afar.
Yeah, they're looking for that real close hold that we got to see earlier today. Fusion University just dominating the map so far. So we got the hook, Nex falling. And so this solo support composition coming out from Fusion University, coming out from a lot of teams today, really seems to be one of the favored looks for Rialto so far.
Well, if nothing else, LNL has gotten the payload quicker, more distance than the final attack from second win, so there is progress to be had.
Not that much further, though.
Hey, it turned the corner.
Okay.
It turned the corner.
It turned the corner. Ah, there we go. It got 2 more meters, but Zachary is going to find another headshot, which has just been the name of the game for him so far. Second kill. Oh, my gosh.
He got both snipers before Dogman said, I will be my own team sniper. And oh, no. Mercy going for the res here. Who are you? This would be a nice dragon if he laid it in, and he's going to hold. Meanwhile, we're going to have a dragon on the other side. Oh, he just ended up dashing into it, eaten right up by Sugar Free. And LNL suddenly going to have an opportunity here, in part because I think Fusion laid off of what could have been a good opportunity.
Quick tip, don't face check a dragon. Elk, though, is
What?
trying to take things into his own hands as he picks up 2 kills. How is this man not on the USA World Cup team?
Oh, wow. Okay, Elk just like, I pull out my blaster. I take down 3 people. Shades of when he played Ana in the show match last season. Like, wow.
I think he's just taking a little of his frustrations out. No, but still, you know, great pickup for the USA World Cup team. Do have a lot of would-be potential, representatives for the World Cup here in this match. Zachary.
South Korea a lot. But Zachary, he's just abusing the Widows on their side, where they brought in Track, I guess, to be more of a Widow specialist. I don't know, but he's only specializing in feeding Zachary's unstoppable hunger right now is kind of what we're seeing. Now, LNL having a better shot here. Zachary not quite able to take... Oh! Track gets him from the other side. He saw him, but wasn't able to finish him. And LNL finally able to power on through a little bit more here. Just got to get rid of the Orisa, and I don't know if Fusion's going to be able to get back in time. I think this is really going to be pushing it if they do, and they could end up feeding a lot of people if they try and defend here.
Yeah, the difficulty is that they lost both of their tanks, and generally that's who you want to walk up to the point. And so with them staggered, it's going to be difficult to try and have them lead the way. Now, there is the Diva. They've got the Orisa barrier up, so Bernard's going to be able to step forward with that. They will go ahead and contest. Here comes a stealth destruct from Bernard.
Oh! Bernard got 2. LNL unable to hold, and Fusion's decision to go in for the defense there works out. and no small part because of Bernard just lobbing his mech right in there and saying,
you're not going
"Nerf this."
anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Sugar Free, though, with the lunge, is able to make it out, but for how long?
Well, I'm not sure Sugar Free is the main target here anymore. Zachary sees a reset in his sights, gets a nice chunk beforehand, close to another infrared sight, and we're down to the final 15 seconds.
Final 15 seconds. They're going to try their best to get out to the point. The halt is used to slow them down, and Decod, who gets bursted down. Dragon Strike coming on in as they try to go for the res. Ajax brings Decod back into this, but Zachary is not letting up.
Zachary, shot after shot. He's been on a rampage here. And Alarm gonna pick off where Zachary left off. Zachary might be down. Alarm is in. And who are you from the flank? Drops the victory dragon. Overtime ticking on down. Alarm transcends because guess what? It is over. LNL getting held here in the courtyard of Rialto, which means that Fusion doesn't have very far to go to finish their 4-0 sweep.
I'm trying to remember if this is where LNL also held last week. I can't quite recall.
It was, I think it was around here, but the problem is for all these early hold setups is that it's much easier to do an early hold when you're not trying to basically get that early hold, because as a defense, you end up taking risks and positionings that you feel compelled to do so in that situation, compared to where if it just sort of happens naturally.
Yeah, when your back is cornered, when you're cornered like that, it's difficult to try and recreate, you know, the same kind of brazenness and the risks you take a lot of times with these snipers. Zachary, you know, at this point, he's just purely weapons free. You know, there's no pressure on him whatsoever or onto Who Are You. They've already got the match victory, and I don't know if they're going to be, you know, really splitting hairs about the map differential at this point.
Fusion definitely looking pretty good here so far. I mean, obviously they've won the series, but a 4-0 is a little bit sweeter, and when you get that sort of early hold, it definitely made things more of a possibility. And take a look at the defense coming out from LNL. Shades of earlier today, where why run a Zenyatta when you can run a large man from the Outback that has breathing problems?
Yeah, so triple tank, solo support. Next, of course, on the Diva, Decod on the Orisa, and Dogman going over to the Roadhog here. We'll see how aggressively they want to actually hold this. Earlier on, we saw Second Wind having to hold right beyond the bridge. Now, LNL are afforded a little bit more luxury because, you know, it's very close to that first checkpoint is where they need to hold instead.
Well, Jamerson, we're going to be going for a ride here. One final ride from Fusion University.
No Brigitte, though. So it is just going to be quad tank coming out from Fusion University. They're just barreling right on in. Hook comes on through. That keeps Sugar Free still for Zachary to clean up.
Yeah, they got rid of the MVP on the other side. Now they're just like, oh, cool. We're just going to continue running in and leave one poor sap to sit on the payload and push it on forward. But LNL take it down so swiftly that they will get another good, clean defensive attempt. But, man, what a way to start.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one person pushing the payload, so there's plenty of time for LNL to regroup here, but Fusion University don't even want them to touch it.
That's wins in France later this year. we're going back, baby.
Tweeting from the World Cup already. But now, LNL, they weren't able to build up much at all. It's Fusion University coming up to a lot of their ultimates. Zachary's currently sitting at 67, but it's Alarm that's got the Coalescence, and they have to run right into it.
You have the Coalescence built up early, as Quad Tank does when it works out. LNL looking for any way out of this. They lose Sugar Free and Ajax immediately, and being down people is one of the worst things against Quad Tank. I mean, it's not great in general, but Fusion just gonna mop them on up. One elimination after the other, and that's gonna be it. A clean 4-0 in from Fusion University, and definitely looking more like the champions that we know them to be.
A month later, Fusion Uni, yeah, Quad Tank's not bad.
Jesus.
They learned their lesson.
Holy score curse, Batman. Like, are we going to be seeing this the entire Contenders?
This is just Group A. There has to be some sort of score curse,
okay,
right?
Here's the thing. I'm saying this right now. You're hearing this first, Contenders audience. If Group A always has a score curse, I will cut a Sombra, like, slit into my eyebrow. That is my promise to you.
Okay.
Yep. This is the eyebrow bat. If this happens,
that is quite literally an eyebrow.
This is literally an eyebrow. Like, if Group A always score curses, you will see me with a permanent Sombra eyebrow.
So I gotta say, I didn't like really hear you say score curse. It sounded like you said scorkers or something. It was like, what is this?
Scorkers, you know.
It sounded like its own word that wasn't a score curse, but like its own merged word. I was so confused.
That's what's going to be now. We've coined the term. It's scorkers.
Okay.
Scorkers.
Yeah.
So what, other than just some amazing tank play at the end there, contributed to Fusion University just like United States of smashing their competition?
I mean, going a little bit. First of all, I mean, United States, that would be sugar-free on King's Row because that was just ridiculous.
Sure,
If
right,
we're gonna invoke such an epic anime moment. But what I will say is that I would say forget the attack there, where they just kind of rolled on through his tanks. Zachary had one of his best Widowmaker performances I think we've seen all season long.
You hit the nail on the head. United States representative Zachary coming in. Just laying it down, and we're seeing why he is, on that roster with Sinatra, with all these superstars coming in from the OWL. And now he is paving basically his way to the OWL. Once this kid hits 18, I want to see how many people are after him.
Yeah, I mean, he's 17 right now. I believe he will turn 18 in the middle of the next season or right before. So, yeah, he's putting on a good showing. If he tops that off by having great moments in the Overwatch World Cup later this year, he probably will have a ticket onto a team.
If I don't see any United States of smashing or All Might signs at like Overwatch World Cup, I'll be very disappointed.
Hit me with
in
that Detroit
everyone.
smash.
Right?
You know?
Oh gosh, I've been so fascinated watching Fusion University do so well this entire round. Can you guys tell me some of your favorite moments from these past few maps?
I don't know why I thought you were going to finish this. Like, it's so fascinating watching My Hero Academia.
I was so fascinated with All Might and Deku's progress, and Bakugo really has a warm spot in my heart. No, we can't go into that right now.
I would say for Fusion, they've gotten more consistent, right? Where I think part of that is getting their Korean players in the United States and not playing server tag every other match. But they're looking much better now than they did throughout the regular season last year, which means is good because if you're not consistent, the idea of dropping a match, especially a key playoff match, becomes way more likely. So kudos to Fusion for just kind of tightening things up.
Yeah, I mean, this is completely activated Fusion at this point. We did have to really question what Who Are You could do from Korea all of last season because it was Zachary that was mainly carrying Fusion up into the playoffs, and now they have all their players here. Things look fantastic. Bernard has been a quick injection onto the team. It doesn't look like he has too many issues with his team so far. Some a little bit with Beast Halo, but that just might be, Beast Halo being really aggressive because that's just how he likes to play. He is not a coward.
Yeah, and he also hasn't really been their Achilles heel either, where he did have one particularly bad moment tonight in Volskaya. It's like, wait, what are you doing? But other than that, Beast Halo's improved.
Yeah, he's trained it a lot.
He hasn't been throwing away his life anywhere near as often. Teams, when they focus on him, oftentimes end up going too far and getting baited instead. So Beast Halo's definitely been on that Rocky style training montage.
All right, well, let's take a look at our schedule for Thursday going into Group B. First up, we will have Toronto Esports versus Sky Foxes. Next up, Team Envy versus XL2 Academy. And then rounding out the day, bye week, we'll be going up against Energy Sports. All right, guys, who are you looking forward to seeing play each other?
Sky Foxes, they have revamped their roster. They added one of the most impactful players from last season in Retzi, where Retzi was on Simplicity and they ended up getting redone. But ex-Retzi is rejoining the roster of Contenders players, and Jaru's coming back as well. So I really want to see what Sky Foxes could do with this infusion of two new DPS players.
And they have a lot to prove also, like not looking like they were going to be in season 2. There has to be some like re-injuvenated like vigor into them at this point. They want to be able to prove that their DPS is worth their weight in salt at this point. So I do want to see that match, but that XL2 match is also another one that I'm really looking forward to at this point.
Awesome.